You just did it again this week. Someone sneezed near you in an elevator, at your desk, on the train, and before you even thought about it, the words were already out of your mouth. Bless you. You don't know them, they didn't ask, you didn't decide to say it just happened. Here's the strange part, you have no idea why you're saying it. You're performing a ritual that's thousands of years old, and you don't even know what it originally meant. It's older than modern medicine, older than most religions as we know them today, and it might be tied to something ancient humans genuinely believed could kill you. So the question is, what did a sneeze used to mean? And why are we still responding to it the exact same way? Let's go back to the beginning. For most of human history, nobody understood what a sneeze actually was. No germ theory, no nerve endings, no irritated nasal passages, just a sudden, violent expulsion of air from inside your own body, seemingly out of nowhere. And when ancient people didn't understand something happening inside the human body, they usually landed on one explanation: spirits. Here's where it gets interesting. In a lot of ancient cultures, the soul or life force wasn't thought to live in the heart. It lived in the breath. Breathing was living. Stop breathing, you die. So anything that violently forced air out of you, a sneeze, looked suspicious, looked dangerous. Some ancient societies believed a sneeze was your soul trying to escape your body. Think about that for a second. Every sneeze, a tiny near-death experience. That's why in a lot of early cultures, a sneeze needed an immediate verbal response, not out of politeness, out of emergency. Fast forward to ancient Rome, and we get one of the clearest documented versions of this. Romans would say things like salve, essentially good health to you, the moment someone sneezed. Historians have connected this specifically to the belief that a sneeze could be an omen, a signal that something was shifting in a person's fate, good or bad, and you wanted to nudge it toward good. But here's the twist that made bless you specifically explode across Europe. 6th century, the bubonic plague. Pope Gregory the Great is dealing with a pandemic ripping through the population, and sneezing happens to be one of the early symptoms people associated with the sickness. According to the widely repeated tradition, Gregory instructed people to say God bless you immediately after a sneeze, partly as a genuine prayer for protection, and partly because in a plague-ravaged world, a sneeze wasn't just weird anymore. It was terrifying. A sneeze went from your soul might be leaving to you might be dying, and so might I. Same reflex. New stakes. Here's what makes this so important. This is one of the only pieces of everyday modern etiquette we can trace almost directly back to a pandemic response and a spiritual survival ritual layered on top of each other. You're not just being polite, you're echoing two separate ancient human panic responses smashed into one 3-second social reflex. And it wasn't just Europe. This wasn't one culture's superstition, it was close to universal. In parts of the ancient Middle East, sneezing was sometimes seen as a good omen, a sign of truth or clarity, and responses developed around gratitude rather than fear. In some East Asian folk traditions, a sneeze was thought to mean someone somewhere was talking about you, and the number of sneezes in a row supposedly told you whether it was good or bad gossip. Different continents, different explanations, same underlying instinct. A sneeze demands a response. You cannot let it pass in silence. That's the part that should actually surprise you. Humans, completely disconnected from each other, kept arriving at the same conclusion independently. A body doing something sudden and uncontrollable was never just biology to us. It was always meaning-loaded. Now zoom forward to today. Germ theory exists. We know exactly what a sneeze is, a reflex that clears irritants out of your nasal passages at speeds up to 100 miles per hour. No souls involved, no omens, no plague signal. And yet, you still say it every time, automatically. Here's the thing about rituals like this, they don't survive because the original belief survives. They survive because the behavior became load-bearing on its own. Saying bless you stopped being about souls or plague a long time ago. It became a tiny social contract, a 1-second acknowledgement that says, I noticed that happened to you, and I'm not ignoring it. Which, weirdly, might be the most human part of this whole thing. We don't actually need to believe in soul theft anymore to keep the behavior alive. We just needed a reason to check in on each other, even for something as small as a sneeze, and once that reason existed, it never really went away, it just changed clothes. So here's the full picture. A sneeze used to mean your soul was escaping your body. Then it meant you might be catching a plague that was killing entire cities. Then slowly it stopped meaning either of those things and became something smaller, quieter, but somehow more permanent, a reflex of care. That's why the next time someone sneezes next to you, on the train, at your desk, wherever you are, you're going to say it again, without thinking, without remembering any of this. And for a split second, without even realizing it, you'll be doing something ancient humans were doing when they thought your soul could fly out of your nose. Funny where habits end up.